So when the investment is rarely the problem, what causes transactional problems is transactions between or for the benefit of a disqualified party. So who's a disqualified party to your plan? Well, you are. Let's say you have a traditional and a Roth. Those two plans are disqualified parties not only to each other, but to you as well. A spouse, parents, grandparents, kids, grandkids, their spouse, is there any legal entity controlled by one of those? So just, we want to stay away from the family. Now what's interesting is siblings are okay. All right, so if I want to swap properties or buy a property, and for my brother, for example, I could use my retirement account to go buy him a property to live in. Can I do the same thing for my mom? No. So siblings, aunts and uncles, cousins, those are all fine. How about an entity I've got a controlling interest in? No. If I've got a low enough interest in it, then the answer would be okay. Yes.
What's that percentage? Is that less than 25?
Well, depends who you're talking to. I would say probably 30% or less would be okay. I mean, if you want to argue about it, you could probably argue anything under 50%. But it's a controlling interest. But yeah, I think the lower the better. When we were in the crash, we had builders that wanted to buy land because they knew the land was literally dirt cheap in those days, right? But they didn't know when they were going to be able to build on it. So what we do is created the retirement account in a manner that would allow them to go make that investment and land bank it. But then the next question is, well, they want to build on it. Can they sell or build on something that the retirement account owns? The answer is no. So we create another limited liability company and put our, the disqualified party at a minority interest. And I think in those we were trying to keep it under 30%. And in those situations, then they're a part owner of this other thing, minority interest. Therefore, it's not a prohibited transaction between disqualified parties. So you're just bringing in other people to get it taken care of.
So the controlling interest is the trigger.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have control.
Yeah. As soon as you got control, you got related party issues, and you got a problem. And the problem with the retirement account, an IRA, for example, is that if you do the wrong thing with an IRA, technically you've fully distributed the entire account's balance as of the first day in the year in which the indiscretion occurred. A 401k plan is different. It's only the money involved with the indiscretion is treated as distributed. There's a big difference between those two and the consequences of a prohibited transaction. Either way, you just don't want to do it. So, we have people that say, hey, I want to go buy an apartment complex with my retirement account because I need more cash flow. Well, I understand that. We'd like to help you, but understand the only way you're going to get the cash flow is by taking the cash flow as a distribution. You're not going to be able to get benefit in any manner while you are, while it's owned by the retirement account. If we're doing the tenancy in common structure, back to Quinn's question earlier on ownership, if we're talking a tenancy in common structure of ownership, joint ownership between you and your plan, for example, we should have a tenancy in common agreement that spells out exactly the rights and obligations of both tenancy in common owners. And we'd also want to make sure that maybe we have a joint checking account that's been funded at investment acquisition with money there, so we can show that we're not having money going in necessarily, but everything's going out into that tenancy in common account, and then you can take distributions as you choose. But you want to make sure that anytime those things are happening, you're going pro rata ownership on a distribution.